Class 12, Keeping Quiet, Poem number 3, Flamingo Textbook, Literature Section, English Core Course. Hello everyone, welcome back to Shalini English Classes. This is Shalini Sharma, your English teacher. Hope you all are doing well and learning English through my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be explaining all the important aspects related to poem Keeping Quiet, which is poem number 3 of Flamingo Textbook. But before I initiate my topic, I would like to request all of you to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel, that is Shalini English Classes, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. The reason is that you will be getting notifications and updates for my new uploads. So students, please like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. Let's start with the introduction of the topic Keeping Quiet. So this poem Keeping Quiet is presented to advocate the virtues of silence in the form of an exercise for meditation. In this poem, the poet aims to appeal to the readers to take some time out of their busy life for a little introspection and retrospection. And the title Keeping Quiet is symbolic of stopping all the activities and keeping the mind quiet by not doing anything. Here you can learn about the poet of the poem Keeping Quiet, and the poet is Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1971, and his poems are full of easily understood images which make them no less beautiful. And in this poem, Neruda talks about the necessity of quiet introspection and creating a feeling of mutual understanding among human beings. Here you will come to know about the theme of the poem Keeping Quiet. So this poem Keeping Quiet is about taking stock of our lives by self-introspection. And this can only be achieved by total silence. The poet is worried about human activities that are harming the environment, leading to destruction. So he advocates the virtues of silence, which will not only promote brotherhood but also peace and tranquility. Here you will come to know about the summary of the poem Keeping Quiet. So in this poem Keeping Quiet, the poet has emphasized the need to introspect and bring in the spirit of brotherhood among the people of the world. The poet invites the people all over the world to come together and suspend their activities till he counts to 12. He wants all of us to be quiet and do nothing. And that moment would be a rare moment in the history of mankind. Fishermen will not harm whales, and there will be no preparation for war, and there will be no harm to environment. Here, the summary of the poem Keeping Quiet is continued. So, the poet makes one thing clear. He wants us to suspend activities for a while and not to stop forever, as life is meant for action and progress, and inactivity means death. The poet doesn't want his desire for inactivity to be misunderstood as a state of uselessness or inaction. He wants men to learn a lesson from the earth. The earth appears to be inactive, yet it is selflessly productive. Men also could be productive and progressive without any aggression, selfishness, and the urge for destruction. So this is the summary of the poem Keeping Quiet. Now let's understand the meaning of the poem through paraphrasing. Now let's start paraphrasing with this first slide. So the poem is, now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment, without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. So what is the meaning of these lines? Actually, the poem begins with preparedness for meditation. It is a kind of wake-up call. The poet asks the readers to count up to 12 and sit still like we do for meditation. And he requests the readers to be absolutely silent and not speak at all in any language. There should not be any kind of physical movement also. And this moment of sudden silence would be very rare, for there will be no sound of the rush of life, no hustle and bustle, and no noise of any kind of engines. In this moment of silence, we can experience a strange kind of togetherness, a feeling of brotherhood that is otherwise not possible in a busy world. So this is the paraphrasing of these particular lines of this poem. Here, let's proceed further with paraphrasing of next set of stanzas. So, the lines are, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the men gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. So, let's start paraphrasing for these lines. So, in these lines, poet wants to say that even the fishermen will sit still and they will not harm the whales. Even the man who is gathering salt will relax for some time. He will get some relief from his painful routine to look after his hands that cause him a lot of pain. The people who are always involved in destructive activities against the environment will stop. And all the wars with chemical weapons like gas and fire will also stop. Wars are always destructive and hardly any survivor is left. So, wars never bring victories. So, for a change, all these kind of people will put on clean clothes, clean uniforms. They would be walking in a fresh environment, and what they will do? They will promote bonds of brotherhood and unity. Here the paraphrasing continues with the next part of poem, and the stanza is, what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. So, what does the poet want to convey? The poet wants the reader that his message should not be confused with total inactivity. Actually, life is work, and inactivity is like death. So we should not only be focused upon keeping ourselves busy and moving ahead, but should also take out few moments for ourselves. In that hour of silence, we should indulge in self-introspection and try to understand ourselves better. If we will not pay attention to our inner demands, then our busy and mechanical lives will obviously take us towards death. Now here we will be doing paraphrasing for the last stanza of the poem Keeping Quiet. And the stanza is, perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. So through these lines, what does the poet wants to convey? The poet feels that Mother Earth is the best teacher. The earth can teach us about the perpetual cycle of life and death. When everything dies, new life gets ready to shape up. In the same manner, during hours of silence, we can think of creative ideas, revive a new life of peace. And the poet believes that during meditation, we remain calm and quiet on the surface like Mother Earth and let new ideas generate like new plants. So this is the paraphrasing of the last stanza of this poem, Keeping Quiet. I hope you must have understood meaning of all these stanzas of the poem. Here you will come to know about the poetic devices used in the poem Keeping Quiet. And the first poetic device is assonance, which can be seen in the examples given in the poem. It shows use of vowel sounds. Okay, so first example is, now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still for once on the face of earth. Let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. And second example is, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers. So in both examples, you can see use of vowel sounds O and E. That's why it's a case of poetic device of assonance. Then second poetic device is anaphora. Anaphora shows any word or phrase which has been used consecutively in the beginning of every line. So the example of anaphora in the poem is, let's not speak in any language, let's stop for 1 second. Then third poetic device is repetition, and the examples are without rush, without engines, and wars with gas, wars with fire. Then we can see metaphor, and the examples of metaphor are put on clean clothes and in the shade. Here the poetic devices for the poem Keeping Quiet are continued. So next poetic device is symbols and images, and examples are cold sea and 12. Then we can see personification, and the example of personification is, perhaps the earth can teach us, as earth has been considered as a teacher. Earth has been personified as a teacher. That's why it's a case of personification. Then we can see next poetic device, and that is alliteration, and examples are we will, we would, sudden strangeness, hurt hands, clean clothes. So these are all examples of alliteration. And then we can see at last paradox. And the example of paradox is victory with no survivors, as opposite ideas have been explained in the same phrase. So it's a case of paradox. So I hope you must have understood all the poetic devices used in the poem Keeping Quiet. Here you will come to know about the rhyme scheme of the poem Keeping Quiet. So this poem Keeping Quiet doesn't have any particular rhyme scheme, and it has been written in free verse. Here you can see vocabulary which has been used in the poem Keeping Quiet, and it will be very helpful for you to understand the poem clearly. Now this is assignment number 1 for the poem Keeping Quiet. You all are supposed to do this assignment in your fair notebooks in legible handwriting. I have attached the same assignment with the description box of this video also. So students, kindly do this assignment in your notebooks in legible handwriting after understanding the concept of poem clearly. Now here you can see RTC question based on the poem Keeping Quiet in assignment number 2. You are supposed to do this assignment also in your fair notebooks in legible handwriting, and I have attached this assignment number 2 also with the description box of this video. In the end, I would like to inform all of you that in this video I have explained theme summary about the poet, paraphrasing, poetic devices and rhyme scheme of the poem Keeping Quiet. Now for detailed explanation of other topics of literature section and writing section, you have to watch my previous videos. Here I would also like to inform you that I have made a separate playlist for each and every topic of literature section as well as writing section. The links of all those playlists have been given in the description box of this video also. So students, keep watching English videos and learn English through my YouTube channel. So that's all from my side for today's topic. Hope you must have understood the concept clearly. Once again a reminder, students, please like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel, that is Shalini English Classes by your teacher Shalini Sharma. Thanks for watching this video. Take very good care of yourselves. Stay safe.